You're here because you're likely either looking to purchase a Focus ST or you just purchased an ST. Or maybe you've had one for a while and you just want to know more about it. Well, today I'm going to show you a little bit about this platform. I'm going to show you some of the features. I'm going to show you some of the things to look out for, some of the common things to fail. I'm also going to show you some easy modifications you can do to make yours more enjoyable. All right, let's start by taking a look at an actual example of the car itself. This car is my own personal 2015 Focus ST1. Now, the Focus ST started life in late 2012 as a 2013 model up until 2018 when it was discontinued. It had a 2-liter turbocharged EcoBoost engine capable of 252 horsepower, 270 foot-pounds of torque. The ST also came with 3 trim levels: ST1, ST2, and ST3. The ST1 saw cloth seats, manual HVAC controls, no sunroof, and a very basic sound system. The ST2 and ST3 trims saw Recaro seats, an upgraded Sync 3 infotainment system capable of CarPlay or Android Auto, automatic climate controls, and the possibility of a sunroof. Now, the seats in an ST2 and ST3 were different. The ST2 had a micro suede with leather, and the ST3 was an all-leather Recaro. Now, the ST2 Recaros also had the option for a color-matched bolster of the seats to match the car. I've seen yellow, I've seen blue, and I even think there's a red out there too. Drop me a comment down below if I'm mistaken on that. Now, my car started life as an ST1, but as you noticed in the pictures, I have the black leather Recaros, and I also have a Sync 3 infotainment system. Now, when I put these ST3 Recaros in, they do have a heated seat option, and any trim level of ST is already capable of making these heated seats work. But you need the right HVAC controls. I upgraded to the HVAC controls from a Focus Electric, I believe it was, and it had manual HVAC controls, but the heated seat buttons to make these work. Now, keep in mind, if you do this swap, you are going to have to swap the occupancy sensor on the passenger seat from your old seat to your new seat. And the pre-facelift model, which is the 13 and 14, can only use a 13 and 14 Recaro seat unless you do a lot of wiring change. Same with the facelift model, which is the 15 to 18 that I have. The wiring is different in those. So if you try to use a seat from a pre-facelift to a facelift, the wiring harnesses aren't going to match up, and there's a lot of wiring changes to make. It can be done, it's been done, but I would recommend staying with the generation you have. Now, the ST comes equipped with a Getrag 6-speed manual transmission. It's the only transmission you could get. And keep in mind that unlike the Focus RS, the ST is only front-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive. So let's step into some of the common issues you can face with this platform. Number one is the purge valve. The purge valve is, to say the least, problematic in the ST platform. They have a high failure rate, which may or may not cause a check engine light, but can cause running issues. Now, the purge valve is problematic to the point that Ford has recently issued a recall on them, and they will replace them one time at no charge to you if you experience a failure. Another issue that plagues these cars is the evap canister. Over time, these can become saturated with fuel and have venting issues when you go to fill the car up, and also cause a deformation in your fuel tank. Now, something you might face when this evap canister fails is when you go to fill the car up, the car will either spill fuel out on the ground through the vent and or cause a starting issue when you go to start it back up after filling up. It will start, but it'll take a few tries. Now, another issue these cars are plagued with, which is common but a little less common than the other one, the cylinder heads can crack in these. This cylinder head design is called a headifold. Basically, the exhaust manifold is built into the cylinder head and is aluminum just like the cylinder head. Over time, through all the heat cycles, and for some unknown reasons, the head will crack at the back, right where the turbo bolts on. This car suffered from that. which is why I got it so cheap at $3,500. I have since replaced the cylinder head, and I made a video on how to do that, which you can see on my channel. And it's really not that hard of a job. It is time consuming though. Now keep in mind, when you replace your cylinder head, you're also going to want to do your timing components as well. Another common issue with these cars is in the transmission. The synchronizers in this Getrag are a junk design, to say the least, and they have a tendency to break the tabs off on the synchronizers and end up in your transmission, which will lead to hard shifts, gear grinding, to the point where you will eventually grind a gear away and it will no longer operate. This car also suffered from that issue, but I didn't find that out till after I bought it. So I replaced the transmission with a used one from LKQ, and it's been solid ever since. I have a video on how to replace the transmission in this car as well. Just take a look at my channel. Those are the most common issues that you'll find on this platform. Now, what can you do about them? Well, the evap canister, which I also have a video on replacing because I did it on this car, really the only option is to replace it with a new evap canister. Same with the purge valve. The transmission, however, there are upgraded synchronizers that you can purchase. I think Mountoon sells. I know Jack's Transmission sells upgraded synchronizers and gear sets. So there's options to upgrade that transmission and take care of that problem. The cylinder head, there's not a lot you can do there. And it doesn't happen on every car. There's plenty of cars out there with over 200,000 miles still rocking the same original cylinder head. But enough with the bad news. Let's look at some of the things you can do to make this car even better. Starting under the hood, one of the modifications I made is going to be very evident at first. I installed this Redline Tuning gas strut hood kit. Comes with all the bracketry you need, goes right to your factory hinge. I don't remember the cost on this, but it wasn't very much. Moving on, I added a catch can to the PCV system. This is just an Amazon catch can and it works just fine. I think it's an Evil Energy one, if I remember right. Also cheap on Amazon. I added this CFM breather that just takes the place of your oil cap and lets out any excess pressure you might be accumulating under your valve cover. These engines do tend to have a little bit of blow-by naturally, and this just helps alleviate some of it. I don't have a ton of blow-by, which is why I don't have any oil outside of my breather, plus it's baffled inside. Another upgrade under here is one you can't see because it's behind the intake manifold, and that is a Radium Engineering baffled PCV plate. That helps to keep some of the oil in your engine and out of the intake track, as does the catch can. It keeps oil out of your intake stream as well, and will also help keep your intake valves clean. Now speaking of intake valves, though you can't see them, in behind the intake manifold are the intake valves. This is a direct injected engine, and what that means is the fuel injector is sprayed directly into the intake valves as opposed to inside the combustion chamber. Now what happens is, since the intake valves are being sprayed directly onto the stems, they build up carbon because there's nothing there to burn them off. This requires walnut blasting the valves as a periodic maintenance item. But the catch can will increase the amount of time you can go before you need to have your intake valves blasted. Moving to outside the car, I was going with a black and blue theme on this car, so the ST badges came off of Amazon if I'm not mistaken. Now I bent this badge around so it follows the contour of the grille, and it is held on with double-sided 3M adhesive. Down to the driving light assembly. My original bezel had a hole right here where a rock went through it, and the original bezels were flat black. I've since replaced them with gloss black ones from Amazon as well. They were pretty cheap and they look fantastic on the car. Behind the grille is another Amazon piece. This is an intake snorkel. I think it was like $20 some, not too bad. Something else I did for free was removed my active grille shutters. Now this will set a soft code in your ECM, but will not set a check engine light. What that does is eliminate the possibility of the shutters becoming stuck closed and overheating your car in warmer temperatures, but it does increase the amount of time needed to warm up the car in the morning if it's cold. But it's not that drastic of a change. Now onto the rockers. I was missing the passenger side rocker when I bought this car, and they are stupid expensive to buy used for some reason. I bought these new, I believe off of eBay, for $99 for both. They are a faux carbon fiber, which I'm not a big fan of, but they're fine and I could always paint them if I wanted to. Another upgrade I've performed on this car, which is also documented on my channel, is the RS Brembo upgrade for the front brakes. I bought all of the individual pieces off of Rock Auto for $600, as opposed to the $1,000 that you find online when you buy the kit altogether from other companies. You can buy all the individual components and get away a lot cheaper doing this upgrade. The next upgrade I did was a $99 replica RS wing that I got off of Amazon. It came as some assembly required and I painted it before I put it on. Another exterior upgrade I did was this honeycomb tint on the rear quarter window that I got off of Amazon as well. Really easy to do this. It was meant for taillights, but these taillights have so many curves that I just couldn't get it on right. But the rear quarter window came out perfect. Cheapo vent visors from Amazon as well. Inside the car are my Recaros that I got from LKQ pretty cheap. I think I paid $400 for the driver and passenger side. And the rear seats I bought used from Facebook Marketplace, I think for like $200. My RS shift knob with a blue shift pattern on it that I got from Facebook Marketplace. My HVAC controls with the seat heat function I got online used for like $99 somewhere. I don't remember where at this point. But it operates the seat heaters perfectly. My Sync 3 system, I bought the individual components on eBay. And then I went through NaviUpgrade.com for the retrofit harness, as well as the programming to move to 3.4. The mirror was a $5 upgrade I got from the junkyard, and I also have this documented on my YouTube channel as well. This mirror is auto darkening, has a compass built in, as well as the HomeLink garage door buttons. Again, I paid $5 for this at the junkyard and I wired it in. I almost forgot the hood vents. I got these on Amazon as well for like $24. I then measured out the hood where I wanted my vents, cut the holes in, and then I used panel bond to bond the vents in. It adds a nice aggressive look to the car and is a fantastic modification in my book that's pretty cheap. So all in all, my Focus ST has been a pretty reliable car for about the 10,000 miles that I've put on it. Now I keep this car well maintained. I only use AMSOIL and I change my oil every 5,000 miles. Others say you should change the oil every 3,000 miles, but I don't believe in that with today's synthetic oils, especially not with AMSOIL. I am an AMSOIL dealer if you'd like to become one of my preferred customers and get great perks throughout the year, as well as discounts throughout the year. I have a link below if you want to become one of my preferred customers and take advantage of the great deals. But anyway, that's some of the things you should look out for on these cars, as well as some of the nice upgrades you can do on your own. Everything I mentioned is absolutely a doable DIY. But as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.